My name is Howard Rollenhagen.
And I'm Charlotte Rollenhagen.
And the second year of my stay here at EMC, to try to make finances work with what little funds I had, my former roommate from Cedar Lake came to EMC that fall because he was 1 year behind me in classwork. And he and his mother were taking a small apartment in the little village here alongside of EMC. In those days, they called it Stringtown. And he suggested that I stay with them so it would help their expenses and cut down mine too. And so I agreed to that. And so I started my second year at EMC living off campus with Jack Nash, a well-known name in Adventist circles. At the end of the first semester, Jack decided that he couldn't make it anymore. The financial drain was too much for them, and he had to drop out of school. His mother was going back to Grand Rapids, so I had to go back to the dormitory. But I tried desperately to go to Union College. I wrote letters out there and tried to make arrangements for me to go to Union College, but I had to have manual labor to help pay expenses. And they had no room for me and told me that I better stay right here. So, but we continued to write once in 6 weeks after those A grades showed up.
You were worth it.
Everything was still going as it was supposed to go. But then come about April, and I wasn't getting that 6-week letter. And come May, and I wasn't to have one, but come 1st of June, I was supposed to have another one, and still no letter. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. I wrote mine, but didn't get any answers.
And I wrote mine and didn't get any answers. And by this time, I'd gone to Washington, D.C. to take the nurses' training.
And I didn't know that. I continued writing to Union College.
Mm-hmm. Neither one of us had dated anybody during these years. And I considered I was his girl, and I liked him a lot. And he considered I was his girl. And I got to Washington, D.C., and I wasn't getting any letters.
Didn't know she was there.
And I didn't know that he didn't know. So over in time, I cried inside a lot. And the next thing I knew, I hear about 18 months later that he has gotten married. And I can't express the sick feeling that I had.
Well, it drifted along all that summer of 38. And it happened that a older Adventist lady in our church in Muskegon had gone down to her relatives in southern Indiana and Missouri and come back with a friend of her niece that was already here, that she had already brought up to Muskegon. So these two girls did housework in Muskegon and attended Muskegon Church. I finally was introduced to them, but I didn't know them to start with, or who they were or anything. But that fall, after in-gathering campaign started, we were put together. I mean, not physically, but we were bumped into each other more often. And these girls lived out in North Muskegon, and the in-gathering continued at least till 9 o'clock on the streets, and then we had a social afterwards that often involved another half hour or so. And they had to leave. I mean, they had to be down at Muskegon bus stop at 9 o'clock in order to get a bus out to North Muskegon, or else somebody from the church had to take them out. And it got to be that they would ask me to take them out there. And so finally I got introduced to this one girl that just finally led to becoming more social with her. And that took 2 years after that, and we got married.
So I lost the love of my life, and I never had a chance to appeal the marriage or to reinstate myself with him, or to find out what went wrong. My letters went unanswered in retrospect. His letters to me never arrived. And so a beautiful relationship fell apart for no reason that we just cannot explain why the letters weren't received. As time has gone by, we just assume somebody intercepted them. We don't have the faintest idea who, but it wasn't meant to be.